What I'm about to show you is Blue Barn Alpaca Farm, and that is in Belvidere, North Carolina, where they have lots of alpacas. We were able to come and see some alpacas be shorn. Now, that word shorn is kind of unusual to me. I would have thought it would be sheared or shearing because it is a shearing process. My husband helps out these friends of his every year when they have the shearing season going on. They're people that come and do this process travel all over the country. And there's some more that are coming in. I got there just as the girls were finished. But now it's the boys' turn. And having never really seen an alpaca except for in a zoo, it was really interesting to me. And I was able to bring the grandchildren too to be able to witness this. I was a little nervous because I've never known the process before. But here's the first two boys. The girls are finished and the boys are coming up. They're getting ready to be led into the pen where they're going to be looked after. And I want to warn you, it looks a little graphic, but it doesn't hurt them. Here we go. We're walking over to the other side. And what they do, see they have those soft mats out there? I'll explain those bags in just a second. But they have the soft mats out there where they're able to put a softer rope. If you'll see, the rope is rounder and softer around each foot. And then they stretch them out. Now this one was putting up quite the fuss. Didn't want anybody touching his feet. And but then they'll stretch them out. Now here is the fleece. It's called Alpaca Fleece. And they bag it up and number it up, and I'll talk to you about that more in just a second. But here we go. They're pulling the rope to stretch it out. Makes me nervous. But it didn't seem to hurt them. They didn't put up much of a fuss. And once they're out, they really do just submit. They just come down and lay down and let you do pretty much anything you want to with them. Now those bags that we saw before, they have numbers in them, 1, 2, and 3. The number 1 bag is for the top fleece, the very top part. That's, I think, the best part. Then number 2 is the undercoat that they're getting, and number 3 is pretty much all the scraps and things like that they have. I asked several questions while I was there. The owner was wonderfully generous. There he is, walking away in the light blue jeans and the blue t-shirt. He owns these alpacas, and he purchases them or have purchased them from around the country. As they come to him, or as they have come to him, they're already adults, and they're from a big alpaca farm, and they don't like people. And the way that he explained it to me is they're such a predator animal, meaning everything wants to get them, everything. So their nature for self-protection is to be real skittish and to back off and not have anything like that. Now, we know that there's several people in our family that on YouTube that have alpacas that are pretty friendly, but that's really not very much the case. What you just saw, he did this alpaca's teeth. That was kind of strange, I can tell you. They have like a sanding or sander. It's like an industrial sander, y'all, that they pick up because an alpaca's bottom teeth will continue to grow. And it interrupts their eating. It interrupts their being able to, their mouth being formed properly. And it's better for them to have their teeth trimmed. As well as the haircut, although it looks kind of medieval, they can't survive in the heat with all that fur on. It's like shearing your sheep or anything else, giving your dog a groom during the summer. They need to be looked after a little bit better, I can tell you. And so the fleece they tell me is a natural fiber. It's harvested from an alpaca. There's 2 different kinds of alpaca fleece. The most common fleece comes from a huacaya. Huacaya is how I'm going to say it. I'm sure I said it wrong, but that's what they say. Anyway, now these people were everyone except for the people that are actually doing the shearing are locals. They're friends of the family, neighbors that come over and help. And the more hands you have, the faster it goes. And this little baby was all big and fluffy, and now it's getting ready to stand up, and you'll see how skinny they look once all their hair is off. But we've all had pets and things that we've done that to, and then when they stand up, they're really tiny. You get a big little fluff bunny of a dog, and you cut their hair, and yeah, they're just tiny. Now, this fella with the light jeans on that's standing there overlooking everything is getting ready to put the harness back on this young alpaca. Now, he handles the 2 babies that were born on their farm much more, so they're friendly and they'll come up to him. But the animals, the larger ones, you have to kind of treat them a little bit like a herd animal or something like that. The cost of alpaca wool is expensive. It can be around $86 a pound. It just depends on the market and things like that. Now, as you'll see, the ropes are small. That one didn't like it, so it spit at him a little bit. They didn't fuss much. There was only one that fussed, like screamed most of the time. And that was because it was just being a fuss bucket. They're trying to make sure with these lines that not only is the alpaca secure, but that it's safe for the shearers. That when they have that sharp blade on them, they don't want it to slip with the alpaca moving. Now look, he's going to do the teeth again. This freaks me out. Wouldn't it freak you out to have someone do... yeah. Oh, yeah, they're getting the teeth. But it's just a short process. And at this time, they didn't have to do any of their hooves because the owner really cares for them a lot. And he does their hooves once a month, he told me. He said that he will put them in a chute and run them through. It's like a corral kind of thing. And he's able to do their hooves so that their feet are good, because all of us know that if your feet are not looked after, if you don't have good feet, the rest of you hurts some kind of bad. Now, these folks were jamming to the country music, Sweet Home Alabama, and all those fun things. Oh, look at that pretty fur. And so I had to cut the volume on everything. They were talking nicely. The shears, the blades and things, it was not bad sounding. Just because of the music, honestly, is the reason why I had to do that. And that handsome man that just passed the screen is my husband, Worth. And he was helping on the other end of the alpacas of where we were. The girls thought this was a pretty crazy thing, I can tell you. My Gia and my Kaylee, the grandbabies, they have a sheep that Kaylee is showing, the little one behind, she's showing. There's Gia, smiling big. And so they understand the process of shearing or having them shorn, which is a new word in my vocabulary, quite frankly. And once they give up the ghost and sit back and relax, there's the owner with the gray beard. He's putting the harness on, and they're getting ready to get all the ropes off their feet. I guess the position, what it does really is puts them in a position of submission. And there's a lot of controversy about this, and it makes my heart hurt, but it doesn't seem to hurt them, not at all. There we go. Standing up and going back. And we're almost done. Now, this is pretty much the last one that they're going to be doing the shearing process today. It's a multicolored alpaca. I don't know what you call it, but I was always called with the dogs, you call him a party color. Just a beautiful boy, really pretty boy. We had cut up some carrots and tried to feed to the girls that were already finished in their process, but they didn't want to have anything to do with us after that process they had been through. We were stranger danger. And I also he has several livestock guardian dogs, and they live out here. They don't want to be around people. They live out here with the alpacas, and those are their people only, is the alpacas. Oh, there's the dentist coming up again. Oh, it makes my mouth turn inside out just to watch it, I can tell you. But it was a good day. It was a learning experience. I am not sad that I don't have to do this on a regular basis. It was very interesting to see. Now, those bags of fur that they gather, or a fleece, it's supposed to be called, they have a co-op that they meet somewhere up on the eastern seaboard, and they all get together and all the fleece is taken off to market. And that's where you get your alpaca sweaters and rugs and coats and scarves and all types of things that, oh, isn't that pretty? All those types of things that are so fashionable to be able to have alpaca. And I looked them up. It seems that their fleece really is pretty clean, and it's good. Some people are allergic to it like they are wool, but look how that came off in one big shot. Now this one, you can't hear, but it was fussing. This was a whiny bucket, this boy was. He did not appreciate it, not one little bit. Wanted to be with his friends, and he didn't want this process to continue. But I can tell you, none of these alpacas had a nick on them anywhere. They weren't bleeding or hurt in any way, shape, or form. And it's because they took so much safety with them and had so many helping hands on deck. This went really fast. I mean, I was expected it to last several hours, and within the first 45 minutes, my husband texted me and said, "You better get over here. We're about to finish all the girls. We've already done 19. Now that's some fast work right there. These people don't play. And they're getting ready to get back in their get-up, in their setup, and move on to another part of the country. You do have to get reservations and schedule these shearing sessions out. Like right now, he's probably booked for next year. And these people also travel all over the world to go to Australia and all types of places to be able to do all the shearing that's going on. Yeah. And see, that he just pulled on that rope, he was releasing it a little bit. He was letting it have some give so that he could maneuver the alpaca better to make sure that it's safe and that he could get it in a position where those clippers wouldn't hurt it. But yeah, that poor little baby was fussing up a storm. My goodness. This was quite the experience, you guys, and I was grateful to have been able to be here. I want to thank again Blue Barn Alpaca Farm in Belvidere, North Carolina. I'm sure that if you're interested in some breeding stock or some type of fur or some type of fleece, or just an ear to understand how it is that you could raise alpacas on a small farm, I bet you he can help you out. I don't have any doubt in that. These were the friendliest of friendly people, I can tell you. And they are good old hard-working folks. I know this fella's knees and back have got to hurt after a while, but it's a process. And I kept telling myself, Anne, they need this done in order to survive, because the heat could easily kill them. Now look at there. There he is, all skinny. Oh, he didn't get his harness on. He's going to run away from the owner. That's okay. They have several gates they have to get through. This was a wonderful experience. Thank you for being with me. The girls loved it. I love to be able to expose new things to my grandchildren. And this is Belvidere Blue Barn Alpaca Farm.